Hello everyone, my name is TrueBlackShark. To the left of me we have Game Guy SD, who is better at the game than he will ever admit. And to the right of me we have Snapcase, who is worse at the game than he will ever admit. In front of me we have Action Henk, the guy with the blue tank top. He is very aerodynamic, don't question him. You see in the back how he used to look in the 90s, and that's basically the whole plot of this game. We want to prove that we're still as fast as the guy in the back. Which seems improbable, but it will happen. One more thing before we start off. This game is way harder than it looks. Everything is built to flow very well, but the jumps are actually way more precise than they look. Okay, we need to reset our medal data. We'll do it a few times to make sure. Alright, and then I think we're good to go. Time starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Alright, this game doesn't have all too many mechanics. We are mostly running and jumping, and we also have a slide. So I think I will go over how the game's physics work real quick. Basically, while running, we have a soft speed cap that the game will accelerate us to while we're just running. And if we are above that speed cap, then the game will slow us down accordingly. We obviously try to go as fast as possible. When you slide, the game's speed cap is removed, so you can go as fast as you want. However, there's no acceleration anymore, so you usually don't want to do that while you're going on flat surfaces, and you mostly want to do that while going downhill. Always when you see like smoke or fire behind me, that's when I'm sliding. And then we do jumps in certain places to speed us up. I'll go over this later, but real quick I want to talk about loops in this game. Because while usually you're not really supposed to slide upwards or on flat grounds, in loops you're supposed to slide all the way, because if you're sliding on a curved surface, the game speeds you up a little bit. Also, you can do jumps in 2 places of the loop, in the first quarter and at the very top to speed you up. Especially the one at the very top is important, because the game just adds vertical momentum to you. You can see this here right now, like the jump at the top there sped me up quite a lot, because when you jump, the game just adds vertical momentum to you. And obviously when you do that at the very top of a loop, you just get slammed downwards, and that gives you a huge boost of momentum. Then there are 2 more jumps that we do to also gain momentum, which is jumping out of ramps, which you've seen me do at like basically every ramp, and you will continue to see me do at basically every ramp. So just at the bottom of the ramp, we want to jump out a little bit while the ramp is still curved, and that way some of that vertical momentum gets transferred to horizontal momentum, which is the one we want. This also works the other way around, where you want to jump up a ramp when it's curved, and because of the curvature you don't just slam into the track and lose all your speed, but instead the majority of your vertical momentum from the jump gets transferred to horizontal momentum, and that's pretty good. Alright, also, while you're in the air, the game doesn't take away speed, so we just jump a few times here, and that hopefully allows us to clear this gap, and that's the first skip of the game. This is also the first environment done. We are going to play 11 batches with 5 levels each, except for 2 batches where we're going to play 1 extra level. So for now, we are just in the kids' room. This will change later on, and the levels will obviously get a lot more tricky as they go. Here we will also see, I think, the first instance of where the game has multiple paths. There's a bottom route here, but as in most games, and usually in this game as well, the top route is faster, so we take that one. By the way, if you guys have any questions or like anything noteworthy that you want to add, just interrupt me. One thing we can talk about as well is the levels, the medals in this game and how they relate to our category. So each track in this game has 4 medals. The bronze, silver, gold, and rainbow medal. The first 3 aren't really all that difficult, but the 4th one requires you to play pretty well to get. We have only gotten rainbow medals so far, which obviously is pretty good, because then we're going fast. For this category, we're only really required to average the silver medal and like a few golds here and there to progress in the game, since this category doesn't require any medals. So if I actually make a mistake and just screw something up, and we don't get a rainbow medal, but just a silver something, that doesn't really matter too much. Alright, in this next level we have an element that you will only find in this level, which is the skateboards. They don't really do anything super special, but with the way they're built, you can get a lot of momentum on them if you hit them correctly. I didn't quite hit them on correctly, so we're gonna go a little bit slower here than usual. There's also a skip right here at the very end, which I'm gonna try to go for, but I unfortunately disconnected from the track. You can't skip this U-ramp here if you're really good, but this is the second hardest skip in the game, so most likely not happening. This level is focused all around wall jumps, and wall jumps are really nice in this game because, like every other input, you can buffer them indefinitely. So I can just hold jump midair and Henk will jump on the first frame on the wall. We intentionally want to go low here so we don't lose time on airtime. We will do that, I think, a few times in the run. And here we just don't want to touch any of the walls because there's like a little kink in them, and we want to just not hit that. Now we're entering the first kind of little environment change, which is the disco match. And there's not really any gimmicks here quite yet. These levels are just all pretty long, pretty like curvy, and you usually gain a lot of momentum in them. Nothing too special yet. Also, if we ever fall down in this game, we have a reference to like the popular kids game, The Floor is Lava. You will see it right here when I jumped over that gap that was very low to the ground. The whole floor just turns into lava, and obviously if you fall into it, you die. Yeah, so right now we're just in this kid's room. Everything's made from like Hot Wheels tracks and building blocks because Action Henk, as the name implies a little bit, is an action figure. So yeah. That's what that references. Later on we'll also play outside, but the track will still be mostly Hot Wheels tracks and wooden blocks. Alright, coming up on this next track here is the easiest skip in the game. If you want a free rainbow medal, then this is the one. And this level also introduces spring boxes like here that just give you a boost of momentum in the direction they're facing. Here's a left-facing one. We want to skip this one because obviously when you get bumped, you lose all your horizontal momentum pretty much, and we don't want that. Now we have built so much speed across the level that here at the end we can just jump on the ceiling and then down into the goal, and that saves like 2.5 seconds. Oh, okay. If you reset in this game, like in the speedrun, it's always a little bad because you will, on every reset, not only lose the time that you lost by resetting in the level, like the time you have already spent playing, but you also have to hear the ready go again, which costs you like 1.5 seconds every time. This game also has checkpoints, which is every time you hear like this little fireworks sound. Theoretically, we can reset to them, but at least in these early levels, the medals don't really reset. And obviously, resetting to a checkpoint costs you all your momentum, and the timer obviously just keeps going. So we really don't want to reset to a checkpoint, because then also the level plays completely differently, as you're lacking all the momentum you're supposed to have in the parts. So unless it's a very, very conveniently placed checkpoints, we will try to not reset to checkpoint at all, as that'll cost us a lot of time and possibly make us miss the medal, and we need to get at least bronze medal on every stage to complete the category. Right, now we're introducing the Hookshot, which introduces a whole bunch of fun stuff. The Hookshot just fires in front of you at a 45-degree angle. And basically it just speeds you up while you hold it. It speeds you up more if the hook is longer, for the most part. And what you can do is when you start hooking on the ground, like I did just there in the beginning, you want to be sliding because the hook pretty much always speeds you up past the speed cap. And so if you didn't hold slide when starting the hook, then you will be running throughout the entire hook and the game will try to slow you down because of its speed cap. And so you usually want to be sliding when you start hooking on the ground. Also, the hook has a fixed length that it tries to keep. And you will see right here on this part, I got shot down a little there at an awkward angle, and that's because as soon as I wasn't touching the track anymore, the hook expanded to its original length, and if we release right in that moment, it'll shoot us down. We can also do hook jumps, which are just jumps midair. We will use one right here. Whoops. We'll use one right here to get up on the ceiling. Oh my god. I can usually do this. There we go. So we'll just jump here midair to get up on the ceiling. The way these hook jumps work is that when you start hooking on the ground, while you're on a surface you can jump off, so the ground or a wall, the game will think that you're on that surface still for the entirety of your hook and will allow you to just jump midair out of the hook. We use that in a few places to gain a lot of momentum. And yeah, in that case on the drop, to just get up to the ceiling for a little skip. The hook will return in a later batch. There's unfortunately not very many hook levels in this game, even though they're my favorite ones. There's only 2 full batches and then 1 extra level right at the end. Now we're going into the Halloween levels. There's not too much of note here right there in the beginning at the TV. Unfortunately, we didn't quite hit the correct TV cycle for that, but you could see a scrap character of the game. Also, if you look in the middle, like at the kettle, the skull that is floating above it is always looking at you. So that is especially visible in the very last level of this batch. Otherwise, there's not too much here right now. Alright, we intentionally do that beginning section poorly, because if you do it too well, you can just get too much momentum and just fly over that spring box that just shot us up, and then you just fall into the lava and die. Alright, here we go. Curse Curves, the beginning section is not too interesting. Just a few wall jumps, but at the end, if we get lucky, because I don't think anyone's found a consistent setup for it, we get a section with 3 loopings, and this is one of the places in the game where you can go the fastest. Oh, whoops, small little bonk there. I guess we won't go the fastest anymore. Oh, we can still go pretty fast. Yeah, we even overshot the track there. You're supposed to clip to that track, but if you manage to go too fast, then you just fly over it completely. I guess I can mention the existence of turbo pads as well. There's one right here. They do exactly what you think they do, just add a lot of momentum in the direction they're facing. So basically we never want to skip those. They're very convenient. Alright, coming up on this next level, we have a little skip at the end. I usually hit it, but it can be a little finicky depending on how much momentum you have. Oh, whoops. I think that was actually still good. I don't think I actually needed that reset. Whoops. But you want to get a double jump here to get more height, so you can safely make it up here. Right, now we want to gain speed in the zigzag section. Oh my god, that is very unfortunate. If that happens, you have to reset. That happens when you have just a little too much momentum. You're supposed to just barely hit the track in front of that gap there. And if you play this section too well, you either need to slow down. Oh my god, it happened twice? Okay. I guess we'll just get the bronze medal and not do the skip. Otherwise, this is going to cost us too much time. So you're supposed to just make it up this shoot here in one go. Alright, still silver. That's okay. Well. Alright, this is the first challenge that we're playing. We usually skip challenge levels, but this one's needed for story progression. And challenge levels don't have the 4 medals as usual, but they just have one opponent that runs on a track in the background, and all we have to do is beat them, and we don't really need to worry about which time we're getting. The challenge levels are usually much easier than the normal ones. We only play the 2 challenge levels that we need to play for story progression. And otherwise we will just skip all of them. Here you can see the skull that just looks at you very well. Alright, the cutscene that we're skipping right here will show you that the kids' room just got blown up, and so the rest of the game is going to be outside. I guess I can talk a little bit about what the story of this game is while we're going through these beach levels here. Also from now on, the difficulty is going to pick up quite a bit. So yeah, the story of this game, I started talking about it at the very beginning. Henk used to be very buff back in the 90s, and now he got a little out of shape. And the guy that we just ran the challenge against, he's called Cantony, and he stole Tank's award, the Toy of the Year award. And now we want to prove to him that we're still faster than him. And we did that in the challenge right there, and then he had to blow up the kids' room, and we will see him later. All right, let's see if we can get this little skip here. Ah, awesome. I usually don't get that first try. So we just want to land on that little corner there and just skip going up on the U-ramp. So yeah, now we're playing outside. I don't think in this level, but here in the loading screen and on some levels in the background, as right here, you can see Mount Henk more with the 4 different characters that this game has, except Cantony, because Cantony is the villain. Also, this is the shortest level that we'll play. I don't think really anyone likes it all that much. Here we have Wave Rider. So Wave Rider, if we do this right, I think is the level in the game where you go the second fastest. Except High Speed Hysteria, which is coming up at the very end. It has a middle section with a lot of turbo pads and a lot of loops. Coming up right here. And if I don't fail any of the jumps, then we can go pretty fast here. And we actually need to slow down a little bit here. Otherwise, we crash into this hill and lose all our momentum for the last part here. Down the Tube has another small skip coming up. One of the classics where you just skip a U-ramp. Also right here, we just get shot up like this. I can explain how that works real quick. So the game is very nice for beginners in the sense that it gives you 5 physics frames to jump off a ramp even though you're not on it anymore. Also, skip's coming up here. There it is. Boom. And in those 5 frames, the game assumes that you're on a level field, so it will always assume you're jumping off flat ground. And even though the ramp was curved downwards, we used those 5 physics frames to jump late, and that made us shoot upwards and get a little bit more momentum out of that downwards half loop. Here's the section where we intentionally want to slow down, so we don't get quite as much airtime. We still need a little bit of airtime to conveniently make it up here. But yeah, there's a few sections like that one where you just want to slow down a little bit to save time on airtime. Nothing too special in this level here. Actually, never mind. There is one special thing in this level here. So I said we don't usually do checkpoint resets. This is like the one exception. Because otherwise we would need to slow down a lot on this hill right here. And using this checkpoint, we can just run it up at full speed and then do a small checkpoint reset to reset our momentum and just drop down. That saves just a few tenths. The big climb, not really anything too special on here, except that it's one of the hardest rainbow medals in the game. I know that beginners usually struggle quite a bit with this. Alright. I think I was a little late. It's gonna get close with the rainbow medal here. You know that you're on a good pace if you get the flip jump here, like when Henk does this little flip. Yeah, he always does it when he's above a certain speed. Yeah, he saw we just got a gold there. That's still okay. So he does a flip if he's above a certain speed. And so in some places you can tell whether you did the previous parts. Oh, whoops, that was an accidental reset. I didn't mean that. Just fat-fingered the button. Whether you did the previous part well or not by whether or not Henk does a flip jump. Alright, here we go. Okay, so the next level is going to be interesting because it features the fast skip in the... not the fast skip, but the best skip in the game, time-wise. Basically, this level has a whole section on the left that is right above us right now. And you're supposed to basically do the ending twice. Once to just get to the left part, and then once to actually do the ending. However, we just do this wall once, and we get up first try, and that saved 12 seconds. Okay, we're back on the hooks. These levels are very technical, a lot harder than they look. Since the hook is definitely the most difficult mechanic that the game makes even casual players do. It takes a lot of getting used to until you're able to use it effectively. And so these levels are going to be very short when I do them. But just know that they're very technical. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's going to be a lot more hook jumps as well, like one right here into the loop, one right here to go up. Alright, and we want to get as much of these turbo pads as possible so we don't land on the uphill there. Throwback, another level where it's really easy to hit a lot of walls, even though you're not really supposed to. Especially, yeah, you're not really supposed to hit this wall there, but that's okay. Oh my god. Luckily, the metals on the hook levels are really, really bad, so even though if we hit a corner like that, it doesn't really matter too much. Here we want to just cancel our upwards momentum because we don't want to go up to the ceiling, we just want to go down here. Alright, flappy swing, nothing too much of interest in here, just a small little hook jump there and cancelling of upwards momentum. Doing a few wall jumps here, and this is the part that gives the level its name. A little bit of Flappy Bird structure going on there. Oh, whoops, you weren't actually meant to hook on that. I accidentally held hook too early. Alright, still Rainbow Metal though. As I said, the metals are very bad. Alright, Ride Run Baby. This is another level where our route diverges from the Rainbow Metal. The Rainbow Metal usually always takes the top route when there's one available. And there is a top route right here, but turns out going this bottom route is actually faster because you spend less time getting up there. There's also a loop coming up right here at the end, but we don't really want to do that, so we can just cancel our momentum here and go down and just not go around the loop. Last story batch. Then afterwards it's just basically bonus content. So Mount Hankmore got blown up. There's now a huge statue of Kentony made out of gold in the back. So it turns out that even though he got blown up with the kids' room back then, he's now back as the Kentinator, like slight Terminator reference. Again, here we want to cancel all of our upward momentum because we don't need it. We just need to get over this gap. And going high loses a lot of time there because obviously you spend a lot of time in the air. Full stop right at the start has a little bit of a weird mechanic. So it's this angled wall right here, and turns out if you just hold jump when you're right in front of it, you just get up every time automatically. But yeah, the first time you encounter it, you're probably just going to run into it and be like, what? What's going on? That one you can just run up. Alright, the next level that's coming up has a really weird loop after the first checkpoint that sometimes can just reject you, and then you kind of have to reset because you don't have enough momentum to clear the gap afterwards anymore. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Also the only F jumps in this game. Alright, here's the loop coming up. Let's hope it doesn't reject us. Nope, that was pretty good. So we just had enough momentum to just fly up here. But sometimes the loop just gives you a really weird angle and basically just shoots you down, and then you can't clear this gap anymore. This last jump is deceptively difficult. Like it's really easy to overestimate your momentum and just jump early there and bonk on it. And yeah, when you're running 100% or anything where you require rainbow medals, that can cost you a lot of time because then you need to reset the whole map. It's a very long map, costs you 30 seconds. It's not that great. Here again, we cancel our upward momentum to go low. And then coming up here at the end is a little cycle skip. There's a part to the left, but the Rainbow Medal doesn't do that one either. The Rainbow Medal, however, needs... Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Apparently we're not doing a cycle skip. The Rainbow Medal needs 3 attempts to go up here, and we do too. But usually if you do this part correctly, you can get up here with only 2 attempts if you don't hit the ceiling. Pinball, the only level in the game that features some trolls. However, luckily for us, we can just skip all over them because they're all in one very skippable part. Okay, so we need to just get up here. Then we're gonna go get some momentum from the zigzag section right here, and then we can just jump up here on the ceiling, and the trolls are all down there, and we just run up here on the ceiling. Now we're back on track, and now we just need to jump to the goal. Right, Kentinator's Challenge. Last story level in the game. And also the only other level except the second to last level where you start by going left. You need to hit that spring box so you can clear this jump right here. And there's a pretty large skip coming up right here, but it's very difficult, so let's see if I can hit it first try. It's looking pretty good. Yep, and we made it up. Nice. Awesome. So that skip just saved us like 8 seconds. If you do this part very well, you can also get on top of this loop section here and you don't have to play it. However, that one's very, very precise, and you usually don't get that in runs. Okay, here's the credits, but in this category we don't need to play the credits. So basically, as soon as we can, we just exit the level and go into back to the city. So these levels, all the levels in this game have a difficulty rating. All the ones we played so far are either easy, medium, or hard. And this is the only batch where the levels have a difficulty rating of insane. And you really need to know your Henk fundamentals to... Oh my god, I almost didn't get up. To get through these right here. Oh my god, I was actually going too fast right there. You're not really supposed to bonk that. Let's try that again. Right, awesome. And we are going to get the skip right here, where you just jump on top of the ceiling. And then jump back down here onto the track. Didn't do it first try, but thanks to the skip, still ran my medals. Last hook level in the game, hardcore hooks, because of course when testing all the mechanics, you need to have another hook level. If you get enough momentum... Oh man, dang. You're kind of supposed to make that. I wanted to get a very flat angle so I could take some momentum into the next part. Because if you do this very well, then you can actually make it up here in one cycle, even though that one you're not supposed to make in one cycle. But yeah, those, especially the second one cycle, they're very difficult. And I think I get like that one cycle 1 out of 10 times at the best. Alright, next up is High Speed Hysteria, which is the fastest level in the game. For it has a section right after the first checkpoint that is just plastered with turbo pads, and so we're going to go very fast. It's this part right here, and you need to go very fast right here, so you make it up all the way on top of this part here. And then once again we're going to go very fast in this section, get some momentum here on these loops to get up this wall. We don't actually want to go over that, we just need some momentum dropping down back through this hole so we can clear this huge gap right here to the goal. This used to be the last level in early access. Then they decided it wasn't hard enough and made another one. In this one, you really need to manage your momentum well, so you usually get up to the next part. This part especially gives newer players a lot of trouble sometimes. Oh my god, you're supposed to get a double jump there. I unfortunately disconnected from the track after the first one. Oh my god, yeah. Well, as you can see, these levels really are very difficult. And I actually don't know how to do this section from checkpoint, so yeah. Luckily for us, in this batch, the medals, especially the lower ones, checkpoint reset a lot. Like the bronze medal usually gets times of like 5 minutes on these, or like 3 minutes on these sections. So yeah, we don't really need to worry too much about this. You're supposed to also do 2 passes through this last U-ramp, but we can just do it in 1 cycle. So as you saw right there, I still go to gold, even though I had like 3 checkpoint resets. So this is the hardest level in the game, right here, the Way of the Ninja. A lot of technical stuff in here. These jumps here, they look very... Okay, you can't make it like that. They look very easy, but actually if you mess up even slightly, then you don't have enough momentum to make it to the next one. And that part, even though it looks so easy, is honestly the hardest one of the stage. Now we just need to get up here to hit this not a turbo pad, the spring box, so we can get over here. Little troll on this wall with that little nut right there. You need to know to avoid. Spiky U, this one's like one of the few parts in this game that is actually easier than it looks. You basically just need to drop straight down. And here I need to make a very tight wall jump, otherwise I don't have enough momentum to make it up these walls there anymore. Alright, and now we're just going to play the bonus content, last batch. These levels were the ones that were scrapped in early access, and then they brought them back for like a Christmas batch. So these levels are going to have a few more places in them that are a little janky compared to the normal levels that you saw so far. This level has oddly one of the most difficult rainbow medals in the entire game. Basically, if you make any mistake whatsoever, you don't get it anymore. Oh, okay. Well, we're already not getting the rainbow medal anymore. You're supposed to make a double jump up to that top part right there. Now we're definitely lacking some momentum going into these final parts. But even if you make it up there, if you miss one jump just slightly, you will not make it anymore. Alright, Slidey Slidey has a really weird beginning section where you are required to go back and forth. Even we can't skip that. We need to go back and forth as well. And it's weird convex shapes right there that you wall jump down from. You need to avoid these spring boxes, otherwise you just get shot back. And then one more loop section, and we're out of this level. Alright, next level, second to last, Bumper Jumper. This is the only level to feature angled spring boxes, which are really weird in the way that they just completely kill your momentum but give you a new one at the same time. Okay, need to make it up here. Okay, otherwise this level is really, really bad. Oh, oops, you're kind of supposed to make it to the top route, but it doesn't matter. We can still play this just fine. Oh my god. You're kind of supposed to make it through that gap right there to skip the loop, but since we don't need rainbow, that's okay. Alright, last level. Time is coming up when I hit the goal here. Little cycle skip here. You're supposed to take 2 cycles to do that, and then ideally another skip here. You're supposed to do a left section and come back. Nice, got that skip first try. Alright, time is coming up, and time. The time is still going. I think our host fell asleep. Yep, our host did fall asleep. I think time was like 30:37 or something. Awesome. You kind of missed time, man. Alright, so yeah, that's Action Henk for you. That's all the levels content. There's still a few bonus levels, but those are 100% only. Also, if you are at the venue right here and you just saw this game and you like it, I'm basically running around with a whole bunch of Action Henk codes all day, every day, since I know the devs. So if you are interested in playing this game, just talk to me and I will give you a Steam code. Then, yeah, thank you guys for having us. I hope you all had a good time, and enjoy the rest of ESA. Thank you.